Thank you for coming out this evening to see Annihilation. And thank you to the lovely people at Offscreen and Cinema Nova for letting me introduce it. My name's John Hyland. I work at Greenpeace here in Brussels, and I'm going to talk to you about fairies, but I'll come back to fairies in a second. Annihilation is a horror film, but for me, the true horror in it isn't the monsters and the other dangers that wait in Area X for the team behind the Shimmer. I'd say that the true horror is that the humans who go in there with their guns and their technology, they're faced with the realization that they are not the masters of nature anymore, that they're not separate from nature anymore. They're part of nature and they're subject to its forces. Nature's out of control and it can destroy them. Many eco-horror films, like the other ones in this festival, they deal with stories of nature reacting to specific interference by humans. Humans do something wrong and then nature strikes back, it takes revenge. We shouldn't drill for oil, nature strikes back. We shouldn't have done that experiment, nature strikes back. In Annihilation, the humans aren't even treated with the respect that comes with revenge for a specific act. We're reminded that we don't fear nature enough and that maybe it just doesn't care about us. I am still coming to fairies. I'll get to fairies in a second. I'm from Ireland, and Ireland has a reputation for being very green. And once upon a time, Ireland was nearly entirely covered with forest. It was 80% covered in natural forest. It's now only 1% covered in natural forest. And what happened? So most of the destruction of the forest, it happened, to graze farm animals, to burn the wood for fuel, to build ships, all that sort of thing. And it mostly happened after the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. Now, before Christianity came to Ireland, the people in Ireland were pagans and animists. They believed that the things around them, forests, trees, rivers, mountains, had spirits or had souls. And this sort of mindset in Ireland and elsewhere kind of gave a bit of protection to the natural world. People didn't want to interfere with things that had personalities and souls. But this changed. And so I'm going to do something very unusual for myself, which is I'm going to quote a piece from the Bible. In Genesis, the first book of the Bible, it said that God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and over every living thing that moves on the earth." So fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over every living thing. It's a very different approach to the natural world. So this is the sort of kind of colonialist mindset that most of human society now has towards the natural world that we rely on for, keeping us alive. It kind of sets us apart from nature and puts us above nature. Now, even when nature does strike back in real life, like we've seen with the fires and the floods around the world and here in Belgium, disease outbreaks and others, the lesson that the humans learn isn't always that we should interfere less. It's that we should interfere more, interfere better. Think about, all the problems that we have from burning fossil fuels and it ruining our climate. The lesson we learn isn't to stop fossil fuels, it's to say we can capture the carbon and keep doing what we're doing. There's plastic polluting our ocean, polluting the highest mountains. Instead of stopping the production of plastic, we say, we can develop bacteria to eat the plastic and release that into the environment. Factory farming is breeding new diseases. Instead of stopping factory farming, changing our mode of agriculture, we say we'll genetically engineer the animals so that they'll be resistant to the disease. So we insist on maintaining this illusion of control over the natural environment. Now, there are some natural sites in Ireland and archaeological sites that still have kind of maintained this ancient protection that they used to have before that mindset of subduing and dominating everything came. So some wooded areas, some trees, some forests, they've kind of remained undeveloped today, even when the rest of Ireland has been cleared of its forests. And it's remained undeveloped because there are still people who believe in the fairies. There's still people who believe that these are the places the fairies live. And now I talk about fairies, I'm not talking about cute little Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. Fairies are trouble. They kill animals, they drive people mad, they will steal your baby and replace it with a monster. They will lure travelers off the path into danger at night time, and they will scream outside your house to predict your death. They're pretty evil creatures. And this fear of the fairies, this fear of the unknown forces of nature used to reinforce the idea in people's minds that we're part of something bigger. We're part of something that's out of our control and that could destroy us if it wanted to. It's possible that in the past, people, maybe for the wrong reasons, for beliefs like these, had the right approach to the natural environment. They knew that they were subject to its forces, not to interfere. Now, Annihilation is a reminder of this. It's a reminder that as humans, we're riding a tiger and we might think we're in control, but we're not in control. And many of the characters in the film, they come to pretty nasty ends because of this. But I'll ask you to think about the character of the physicist, Josie, and the end that she comes to, which is much more peaceful. Now, I'm not saying that to live in balance with natural world, we need to start believing in fairies again. But I'm saying it might be enough to realise that as humans, we're not masters of the forces of nature, but that we should maybe humbly accept our place within them. I'll leave it at that and enjoy the film. Thank you.